Hola, buen día. El día de hoy los quiero invitar a que practiquen su inglés con sinopsis de películas. Por ejemplo, Silent Night es una película y tiene la siguiente sinopsis. Dice, John Woo's new film is a revenge thriller with such a predictable plot that one can imagine the first multicellular organism distributing an electrochemical version of it to each other through osmosis. It's also one of Woo's best, and one of the most deliriously cinematic movies of the year. If ever there were a movie that demonstrated the idea that telling matters more than the tale, it's this one. The movie is called Silent Night, and it's set at Christmas, which is when the main couple, Joel Kinnaman and Catalina Sandino Moreno, lose their only son to a stray bullet after a couple of cars full of rival gang members drive through their neighborhood while shooting at each other. But the movie's title is unrelated to the same name holiday carol. It's called Silent Night because it's a silent movie with sound. Nobody speaks a full word of written dialogue. Characters grunt when they crash against a wall, get punched in the gut, or are struck by a car. They gasp or scream when they're shot or tortured. You hear sound effects and soundscape noises throughout, such as wind, rain, footsteps, and traffic. There are pop songs with lyrics on the soundtrack, interspersed with long stretches of Marco Beltrami's deeply felt. Unabashedly melodramatic score, but nobody talks as a regular person would. They exchange looks, or if they're alone and contemplate something tragic or troubling, they'll stare into space or down at their hands, lost in thought. Not that they do this sort of thing constantly, mind you. Much of the time they are trained to kill each other using guns, fists, feet, knives, explosives, cars, motorcycles, and everyday household objects. Or they're conducting surveillance, rolling up plans, hardening their bodies, practicing lethal skills, and so on. Because that's the kind of movie this is, the kind where people let their actions do the talking. I suspect people who don't like the movie will say it is unrealistic or that its existence requires such continuous maintenance on the filmmaker's part, that the result is more distracting or alienating than engrossing. I have nothing to say to such people other than, this movie is not for you. The film's dedication to its concept is the origin point for everything unique about it. The result of its thoroughness is an exercise of pure filmmaking. Picture plus sound plus music plus performance, the stuff that cinema is supposed to be made of. To that end, Silent Night pays tribute to one of Good's greatest influences, operatic Western director extraordinary Sergio Leone, while pushing the master's aesthetic further than Leone ever did. The film is sort of an inverted opera, or a ballet without violence, and intimations of violence in place of dance. The performers don't speak, much less sing, but their faces and bodies do. The purity of emotion they communicate is disarming, unique, and if you surrender to the exercise, unexpectedly moving. Entonces, yo les recomiendo que lo lean, yo lo practico y la verdad es que te ayuda bastante. Sí está un poquito larga, pero te ayuda mucho a la condición mental. No importa si cometen errores, o sea, no pasa nada. Es mejor que se equivoquen aquí en sus casas, en la práctica, en el salón de clases, que se equivoquen en una entrevista de trabajo o en un empleo. Entonces, se los dejo, que tengan un excelente día, hasta luego.